results are important. Where do results come from, however? Results, I would suggest, come from our actions. Would that be fair to say? The things that we're saying and doing drive our results. Now, those actions come from how we choose to behave, what we choose to say, and choices. Where do choices come from? Well, I'm going to suggest that our choices come from our mind, and specifically what we pay attention to. So whatever we're paying attention to, whatever we're focusing on, helps drive the results that we're seeing. Has anybody gotten a really good result without having to put a fair amount of attention and focus on that? I mean, if you did, it was probably happenstance. But for most of us to get good results, we need to have good attention. And here's what's interesting and perhaps a little bit scary as well. Because what we know is in our paid reality, our attention is under siege. In the last 10, 15 years, our ability to pay attention is going down and down and down. And it is leading to a condition which researchers are calling ADT, which stands for Attention Deficit Trait. You're probably familiar with attention deficit disorder, which is a disorder of our mind. Some people are affected by it, and it impacts their ability to have sustained attention. But what's happening to many of us in our paid reality is we're having the same symptoms of ADD, but it's a trait and a condition of our external and internal environments. And if I were to put a value on this, well, let me just throw it out to you. If you were to guess, what percentage of our lives on average do you think our mind is involuntarily wandering from what it is that we're supposedly paying attention to? What percentage of our lives? 95, you have no faith in our ability to pay attention anymore. It's not quite that bad, but it's actually much closer. I heard 50% here. This is what research is telling us, that on average, 46.9% of the time, our mind is wandering from what it is that we're focusing on. So even though right now I can see you all here looking at me, some of you mentally have already disappeared. And that's just normal, although we can improve upon it. Because what we know is that when it comes to results, when it comes to our business outcomes, 46.9% of the time, we might be distracted, inefficient. We have resistance to change. We're cognitively rigid. We have that fixed thinking mentality. We may be overwhelmed, and we're stressed and disengaged. This is for ourselves. This is for the people that we're working with, the people who we're living with too. So that's kind of the bad news. Because when it comes to our working today and our working worlds, we're living in what Thomas Davenport from the Accenture Institute for Strategic Change is calling an attention economy, whereby he says, understanding and managing attention is now the single most important determinant of business success. It's no longer just dependent on our time, how much time we're investing, or our skill set that determines the results that we allow. It's really coming down to our ability to have high focus, sharp, clear attention that's sustainable over time. That determines our results almost more than anything else. Is this making sense to you? So that's a little bit of the burning platform, if you will, when it comes to our attention today in a paid reality and the impact it has on our results.